In the previous video, we learned how to type functions, parameters, return values, optional and default parameters. Now we're going to talk about something you use in almost every application, that is arrays. And after that, we'll look at something more specific and structured, that is tuples. By the end of this video, you'll know how to properly type arrays, understand the two different syntax styles, work with arrays of objects, and clearly understand when to use tuples instead of regular arrays. Now let's jump into the code. In JavaScript, we might write something like this: let numbers equals to a list of numbers. This works fine, but there's no restriction. We could push anything into this array. In TypeScript, we can explicitly define the type. There are two methods to do this. Let's talk about method 1. If I add a type annotation over here, number, and a bracket, this means an array of numbers. So now TypeScript enforces that every element must be a number. If I try to push something that is not a number, for example, numbers.push a string hello, I immediately get an error. Why? Because TypeScript is protecting the integrity of our data. This prevents accidental bugs and keeps our array consistent. Now let's talk about another way to write the same thing. Let me make another array using a different method. Let array num array of number equals to 1, 2, and 3. This is exactly as this. Both are valid. Most developers prefer the bracket syntax because it's cleaner and clear to read, but technically both of them are identical. Now let's try some other types. I have created two more arrays. This is array of strings and this is array of boolean values. TypeScript ensures consistency inside these arrays. If I try to push an integer inside an array that consists of strings, TypeScript immediately shows an error because names must only contain strings. This is what we mean by type safety. TypeScript enforces data integrity across your entire application. Now what if we want multiple types inside the same array? For that, we can use union types. For example, this means it is an array containing either a string or a number. Each element can either be a string or a number. We'll cover union types in detail later, but this shows how array can combine multiple allowed types while still remaining type safe. Now let's move into something practical. Most real-world applications deal with array of objects. Let's define a type first. Now we can create an array of users. Now if we write an array of objects in this way after defining a type, TypeScript ensures every object has a name, every object has an age, and the types are also correct. If I try something like name, Sita, TypeScript throws an error. And if you ask me why is this powerful, because in large applications, consistency is everything. This is how TypeScript helps maintain structure at scale. Now let's talk about tuples. A tuple is a fixed length array with fixed type in a specific order. Here is an example. This means the first value must be a string and the second value must be a number. If I reverse the order, it won't work. As you can see, it fails because order matters, and if I remove a value, it fails again because length also matters. That's what makes tuple different from regular arrays. Now you might be asking yourself, so when should you use tuples? Use tuples when order is important, the structure is fixed, and you're working with small data groups. Take a look at this example. Tuples are generally perfect for coordinates, RGB values, and key value pairs, but in most real-world applications, use objects instead, because an object is always more clear than a tuple. Tuples are great for structured positional data, and objects are better for descriptive data. Let's compare arrays and tuples. Array has flexible length and same type, whereas tuple has fixed length, fixed order, and fixed type. This is the key difference. And that's it for arrays and tuples in TypeScript. Today you learned how to type array using two methods, work with arrays of string, boolean, union types, and objects, understand how TypeScript enforces consistency and prevents bugs, and most importantly, when to use tuples instead of regular arrays. Remember this simple rule: if the structure is flexible and descriptive, use arrays, and if the structure is fixed and positionals, use tuples. Mastering this concept might seem small, but in real-world applications, this is huge. Almost every project you build will rely on properly typed arrays. In the next video, we'll continue building on this foundation and explore even more powerful TypeScript features. Until then, practice what you have learned, experiment with different types, and try breaking things, because that's how you truly understand TypeScript. I'll see you guys in the next one.